In the first video of solving absolute value equations, we solved the equation the absolute value of x plus 7 equals 12 by dropping the absolute value symbols and creating two equations. X plus 7 equals negative 12 and x plus 7 equals positive 12. But what if we're given the equation the absolute value of x plus 3 plus 5 equals 11? We simply can't make this into two equations. First, we have to move the the plus 5 to the other side so that we can get the absolute value by itself first. So, in order to get the absolute value by itself, we simply subtract 5 from both sides and we get the absolute value of x plus 3 equals 6. From here, we can make our two equations. X plus 3 equals a negative 6 and x plus 3 equals a positive 6. We subtract 3 from both sides of the first equation and get x equals negative 9. We subtract 3 from both sides of the second equation and get x equals 3. Let's try another one. So, before we create our two equations, we have to get the absolute value by itself on one side of the equation. To do this here, we're going to add 6 to both sides of the equation and get the absolute value of 2x plus 5 equals 19. Since the absolute value is by itself, we can now create our two equations. 2x plus 5 equals a negative 19, and 2x plus 5 equals a positive 19. We subtract 5 from both sides of the first equation and get 2x equals negative 24. We divide both sides by 2 and get x equals negative 12. We subtract 5 from both sides of the second equation and get 2x equals 14. Divide both sides by 2 and get x equals 7. That's how we do addition and subtraction, but what about multiplication and division? Suppose we have 3 times the absolute value of x minus 2 equals 12. Again, before we create our two equations, we have to get the absolute value by itself. So, we're going to divide both sides by 3 and get the absolute value of x minus 2 equals 4. From here, we can create our two equations. X minus 2 equals a negative 4, and x minus 2 equals a positive 4. We add 2 to both sides of the first equation and get x equals negative 2. We add 2 to both sides of the second equation and get x equals 6. Let's try a harder one now. Here we have division. Notice how the 3 is dividing everything on the left side of the equation. So the first thing that we do is we multiply 3 by both sides. This cancels out the 3's and we're left with the absolute value of 2x minus 1 plus 4 equals 15. The absolute value still is not by itself, so we need to subtract 4 from both sides of the equation. And we get the absolute value of 2x minus 1 equals 11. From here, we can create our two equations. 2x minus 1 equals a negative 11, and 2x minus 1 equals a positive 11. On the first equation, we add 1 to both sides and get 2x equals negative 10. Divide both sides by 2 and get x equals negative 5. In the second equation, we add 1 to both sides of the equation, get 2x equals 12, divide both sides by 2, and get x equals 6. Just remember, before you create your two equations, the absolute value has to be by itself on one side of the equation.